Hi, Leaky. How you guys doing?
This book is so awesome. I can do anything. This book is so awesome.
It's my copy, as I'm sure that you have guessed, that you're about to see here today, and which will be on exhibit here at the New York Public Library for the next month. Though it was a very personal gift to me from the author, I think that editors are used to sharing the most important gifts that authors give, i.e. their stories, with the rest of the world. It's in fact this sharing of gifts that is the heart of why we give our hearts to this business. These are really terrific tales. I keep wondering when is going to be the last time I get to say this to people who haven't read a Harry Potter related book. But they're really great. They're both timeless and universal. You read these and you feel as if these stories have been part of wizarding law for ages and ages. And like the best of those kind of tales, they reflect both the storytelling genius and the deeply moral personality of their author. Tomorrow, a version of the Tales of Beedle the Bard will be available in bookstores and online, and all net proceeds from the sales of this book will go to support the wonderful work of the Children's High Level Group. Enough of my talking, right? You didn't come to really hear me talk, you came to see a Tale of Beedle the Bard, original copy.
I didn't read these initially as an editor reads a manuscript. I read it as a person getting a gift from somebody he cares about who he's been through a lot with. It even further deepens our sense of what this world is about. If this is the folkloric, literature of the wizarding world. I don't know if it's certainly not the complete, I would guess, but these are the folk and fairy tales that every wizarding kid grows up hearing. So it's like their Goldilocks and their Cinderella.
I think that the jewel in my book is there because it's my son's birthstone. Opal or tourmaline that month, but it's tourmaline. Beautiful.
Does she know when she's...
Yeah.
Oh.
Believe me, she knows everything. No, seriously, this is who she is. This is the kind of person she is. She's, if you're close to her and if you told her once 17 years ago that you really love hot dogs with relish, and she happens to be the one getting handed the hot dog, she'll say, no, he likes relish. She's, you can imagine from reading her books what a mind for detail she has, and that applies in her personal relationships too, which is my favorite of the tales. It's hard to say, it depends on the day, but I think maybe The Fountain of Fair Fortune. Really strong, interesting, original female characters. A kind of, even though it's in this mythical realm of storytelling, it still feels original and surprising. It's hard to have a folk tale and be surprised. Again, when you realize these tales, you realize what a genius she is, that she can take a form like this and still make you feel like you couldn't predict exactly what was going to happen. I kept it in an undisclosed location in a safety deposit box in a bank. Buried underground.
I haven't had them around my house, let's just say.
My most memorable moment working on the entire series, I think it was my first phone conversation with her. After I had won the auction for the first book, and just getting on the phone with this woman who was nervous and excited and scared, and telling her how much I loved her book and how excited I was that I was going to get to publish it. And that first connection. She's such a likable person. I'll always remember that phone call. In the many layers, the wonderful many layers of the book, Dumbledore. This is a manuscript that is newly translated by Hermione Granger from the runes, because as you know, she was given the copy in Harry Potter 7. Dumbledore gave her the copy, and she's translated it. And she also has uncovered Dumbledore's notes about the stories. So he comments on the stories and what he thinks they, mean and how they've been interpreted, and gives a little wonderful historical, wizarding historical background. And then occasionally she, J.K. Rowling, comments on Dumbledore's notes, commenting on the stories. So there's a great dialogue of voices that happens in these books. Will people ever get tired of Harry Potter? No. No, I really don't think so. I mean, I think these are classic books, that people will never, new generations will come up reading and being excited, just like the very first generation was, I think.
This book is so awesome.